What if weather patterns in Animal Crossing were different? As well as what if holidays revolved around your schedule instead of you having to revolve your schedule around Animal Crossing's holidays? All that and more is going to be discussed in this podcast here on the Nintendidn't So We Did podcast episode number 5 with me, Super Koopa. Hey guys, my name is Dare, also known as Super Koopa here on the MFC, and if this is your first time tuning in to the Nintendidn't So We Did podcast, I'm very happy that you're here today. It is currently October 31st when I'm recording this. That means it is Halloween here, and it is also Halloween in Animal Crossing, and so I thought it'd be really appropriate to tackle the topic of events in this new totally made up game that I created called Animal Crossing Small Town Big City for the Nintendo Switch 2. And I am revolving around this document, I'll call it a mega document if you will, that I created for this totally conceptualized game. If you're interested in concepts or just ideas for the next Animal Crossing game and you want just a literal fire hose full of information about this potential new game, then I have created a mega document that you can access for yourself. There's no viruses, no cockroaches, nothing crazy like that that's gonna sneak up on you for going to this link, but just check it out, and it's gonna be located within the description of this podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, in the description. So I'm glad that you've joined me today. We're talking about holidays today, and we're also gonna be talking about more diverse weather patterns. So let's not waste any more time, and let's get into our first part of the topic today. And also, before I get started, there's going to be some gameplay in the background from me actually playing today on October 31st for Halloween. So let's get into it, shall we? So if you're currently following along with me on the document, you're going to want to go to the page that says Small Town Life, Holidays and Events. There's a tabs on the left side, so you'll be able to go to any tab that you want and find more information about that. But this is the Holiday and Events tab. Now, before we get started into the document itself, I want to share with you a little bit of the concerns that I've had with holidays before. So holidays actually began on the North American localized version of Animal Crossing population growing for the GameCube, believe it or not. So a lot of these holidays that we've come to know and love, although a lot of the names have changed, the essence of those holidays have actually come because of that game. And so for that game, we had some really cool inclusions of the Halloween event, the Toy Day event, and things like that. And then in Wild World, we actually got a series of new events that were not specific to any localized area. These were exclusive Animal Crossing inspired events like Yay Day and the Flea Market and what was that other one? It's not important. Oh, Bright Nights. Bright Nights. I guess it is important for this topic to talk about. And then in City Folk, we got the inclusion of holidays again, and they just continued to evolve, adding more on and changing some of the names. And I think a lot of the holidays have gotten some really good upgrades. I think we've also left behind some of the charm of the original holidays as well. So in this concept, I like to marry all those things together and bring holidays back to a place where they are diverse, but they are also accessible, because one of the hardest things about holidays as an Animal Crossing player is a lot of these holidays actually fall on the exact same day as other holidays in real life. And I want to experience those with my family and my friends. And so it's really important that I get these exclusive items, right, for the game. Hello, Rue. You know, we have these NPC exclusive items that are only available on these times, and so people are time traveling for it to get them, and it's not great. So how can we fix that system? Well, I think this concept is actually going to help us fix all those problems and bring those diverse holidays back. And so turning to the document now, what I have conceptualized is what's called a sign-up sheet. It's a very small little sign-up sheet that is available in the town hall. And so when you walk into the town hall building, Isabel or Tortimer, whoever is going to be in there at that time, is going to be in charge of the sign-up sheet. And in the range of a certain holiday, not all holidays are going to be treated this way, of course. And the ones with the asterisks on the actual document, you'll be able to see exactly what holidays are included. We're about to pull that up in just a minute, but these holidays will actually be able to be scheduled out in a certain time frame that's going to work for you now. And so you'll be able to choose not only the time of day that the event will take place, but you will also be able to choose what specific day within a certain threshold of time on the calendar that this event will actually take place. So for an example, I got some friends that I'm going to be meeting tonight for trick-or-treating, or I'm having a Halloween party with friends, or maybe it's Christmas and I'm going to church and I really want to be there with my family and attend a church service. Well, I'm not able to play Animal Crossing, then those things are going to take priority. I mean, maybe not for all of you. Maybe Animal Crossing is more a priority than those things. And I would say check your heart if that's a thing. Definitely spend more time with your friends and family than your virtual world. But, however, I still want to attend this event. I love Animal Crossing. I want to get this exclusive items. How am I going to do this? Well, simply choose a different date. So, maybe I have this planned tonight. Maybe I can make this event for November 1st instead. I know that I'm free that day. I don't have anything going on November 1st. And so I'm going to sign up for this holiday. And Isabel might ask me, hey, actually, what day is best for you to attend this event? So I can make this holiday November 1st at 6 p.m. or 7 or 8 p.m. or even as late as 11 p.m. for when Halloween will start. So you're kind of getting the idea, I'm sure, about how this could be very helpful for us. And I think the reason that we would change holidays in this next game would be for player accessibility, but also the importance of interacting with your villagers. We want villagers to be just as important as, interacting with your friends. Villagers are going to play a very important role in this next game. In the last podcast that we had, in episode 4, we talked about the significance of villagers and the changes that are needed and how the three-dimensional villager kind of expansion plan that I have could really bring out the personalities, the aspirations, and the dreams of every single villager. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out in the tab that is up on the screen right now. I think that this is going to be such a cool video if you are interested in changing those villagers from bland and nice to more varied, once again, as they were in the original games. And so these holidays will also be changed because it could discourage people from time traveling. We know that time traveling has been quite an issue in the past. And so we want to definitely change how time traveling works in this next game. And so the way that I think that we can do that is simply by making certain holidays at least, locked behind sign-up sheets. And so you actually have to log on a few days before, and then you'll have to go through the trouble of, there's got to be some sort of way that you have to play with a certain succession of days in order for this event to be triggered. Like, I go to my sign up sheet, I pick the day, but then if I time travel, for some reason, that is undone. So there could be a condition in the game where that could happen. It would be difficult for people trying to get footage for the event like ahead of time, but that would actually help people who are live streaming and people who are interested in actually playing the day when they're available to be able to access these events instead of having to just time travel for them. And it'll help their turnips, it'll help all these things. So discouraging time traveling is the way that I want to go. Okay, let's go through the list of these events. Let's transition to our screen here where we're going to pull up this mega document. All right, so here is the events. There's going to be multiple locations at the event. These events will be taking place. So you're going to have the main town square holidays. You're going to have the in-town events, which are events that spread into the whole town. Then you're also going to have, and I'll read through them in just a minute, the boat dock holidays. That's a new location that we've added that allows you access to the ocean, and there will be specific events that will happen on the boat dock, and then just general events like your birthday or Mother's Day or Father's Day, things like that. So let's read through these together. Keep in mind that the events with asterisks next to them are the events that will have to be included with a sign-up sheet. So you will have to sign up for these events. So let's go through them together, shall we? All right, first event is going to be New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. You don't need to sign up for this one. This will only be happening in the Western Hemisphere, so in North America and those countries as well. That's where those events will be happening. December 31st. We don't need to change that day. That's going to stay. What about Bright Nights? That was an event that was exclusive to Animal Crossing Wild World. I'd love to see that event come back where it's happening in the dead of winter. There's not a whole lot of big events happening in those times, and so having an event during that time would be great. Maybe Isabel's offering you hot chocolate and there's a fireworks display during those times. Not only is there fireworks, but in the traditional Bright Nights aesthetic, villagers are decorating their homes as well with Christmas lights or holiday lights, and so I think that could be really cool to see that event come back as well. Lunar New Year, this is going to be the New Year's edition of the Eastern Hemisphere, and you'll be able to celebrate that during the day that lands on. Good Luck Day is a new event that I created. That's going to be St. Patrick's Day, a counterpart for that. Bunny Day is back, and that's going to be a sign-up event, as well as the Bug Off, the Fireworks Show, the Acorn and Harvest Festival. Also, Thanksgiving is the Harvest Festival. I think it was also known as Turkey Day in past days as well, past games as well. And then Toy Day itself will actually be a month-long event, so there will be a lot of preparation that comes with Toy Day. One of the things that I loved about past games is you had to work on your villagers to find out exactly what they wanted. And there's a fun element about decorating your town with lights and decorations for Christmas, Toy Day as they call it, as you're anticipating Jingle to come. But I think that could be a month-long event that could take place, that there could be a build up to the event, and then on December 25th, then it will spread to the whole town and Jingle will come, and we might make some changes. Animal Crossing developers might want to change that again to make it more interesting, but I like the way that they're doing it in this past game. But I'd like to bring in old elements from past games as well. I think that taking from past games is very important as well. So I have not conceptualized full holidays for you. Let your imagination run wild, but these are just some events that will need to be signed up for. And the last one is the mayoral race. Now, I don't want to give too much away for this, but basically there's going to be somebody running for mayor, and you're going to have to campaign in order to find out who that new mayor will be. And it's not really affecting the tide of the campaign. It's just a fun little mini story that you can experience once you hit certain conditions within the game. That's all I'm going to give you. The actual event will be taking place on a weekday with no events once those qualifications are met. And you can find more information about that within the mayoral race tab if you really want to find out more about what that's going to be in the future. Okay, now the in-town only events. Let's scroll to this now. Okay, what is this going to look like for us? We have the Spring Flower Festival, which is a brand new event that is overwriting the Festival event. So it's actually going to be both events combined. So we had a flower festival in Wild World, but we also have festival. So I think it would be cool to create a rainbow full of flowers. Instead of collecting feathers, you're actually trying to create hybrids, and there is going to be more hybrids that are going to be available during that time that will pop up. So I don't know how it's all going to work, but it'd be really cool to just have a bunch of diverse flowers in the Spring Flower Festival. Okay, April Fool's Day is another event, the Yay Day, which will actually be more of a Valentine's Day counterpart. I think it would be great to be able to create these town tunes, but also just spread love and spread joy around Valentine's Day. It gives another winter event for us, and as well as just having a day where you can compliment your villagers and make them feel good and just have a great time. Flea market is one that I'd like to return from Wild World as well, where villagers can sell their goods from their home, or maybe even set them up outside, things that they want to sell. The winter and summer solstice is something that happens in the sky, as well as the autumn moon. And then the rest of these events will happen and need to be signed up for. Sports Day is one of them. That's an event all the way back from Animal Crossing population growing. This was a very cool event where villagers would participate in different sports events at different hours. And I think it'd be very cool to watch them participate, but also participate yourself in these sports events, maybe even with your friends or family. Halloween is another one that's going to take place in your town, as we know. That one is going to be taking place with, Jack roaming around. There would be some changes that I'd like to make after playing it today. Something that I noticed is that villagers are way too nice. Let me show you an example. All right, what you're seeing now is some footage from me time traveling, of course, but you know, me playing around in this Animal Crossing town of mine. That is so creepy. Like, that is the perfect way to spook your friends. So watch this interaction with Zell. Okay, did you see that? Like, what just happened there? Okay, let's go talk to Nibbles. Let's see what happens with her. Trick or treat, time to hand over the candy or face the wait, no candy? I can't prank an unarmed neighbor. So come back to me when you have candy. Okay, did you see that interaction there? So basically, your villager won't do anything to you if you don't have candy. So there's no tricks even had. And now in the past games, they would literally replace items in your inventory with trashed items because you didn't have anything. And in this game, they don't want to inconvenience you. They only, and if they do trick you, they put body paint on you that you can easily undo. And not only that, let me find the example. Where's the example that he literally gives me? Watch this, guys. So he tricks me, and then he explains that the paint comes off, and then he gives me a mirror to do it. What? Like, that's not even mean. Like, you can't be mad at them. But what's wrong with being a little bit mad or upset for a couple minutes? Like, we just don't want to inconvenience people nowadays. So look at that. It's a cool face paint. I might want that. Like, look at how cool that looks. So I don't know. I think that we could definitely make villagers less nice in this next game. I think we all are pretty much cool with that. All right, let's get back onto our holiday list here, shall we? All right, so we just covered Halloween, which will be a sign-up event. You could even make that one November 1st if you wanted. And then we have an Eastern Hemisphere exclusive holiday, which is Setsubun, and then Toy Day, which is the culmination on the 25th. You can't change that day. And then the mayoral race, which happens 7 days before the actual mayoral race event in the town square. Okay, boat dock events. Like I said, we added a new locale in this game, and it's called the boat dock. It's located towards the bottom of your town, and you can find out more information about the boat dock video in the card that is appearing right now. We did a podcast all about the boat dock, but there are 3 events that I made exclusive to the boat dock, which is the typical fishing tourney, which you've seen in games past, but then 2 new events, which is the Lantern Festival, which is a celebration of floating lanterns and water lanterns that are floating on the water as well. So the whole water will have lanterns in it. The lake portion and the ocean will be all blocked off, so you can't go out because there's lanterns in there, and it's just a beautiful event to experience with friends and family. And then the boat parade is something that you can go out. In fact, you can invite your friends and your villagers to participate in a boat parade as they go along the water, and you can pick the certain time of that event. You may even be able to do a boat parade at sunset. That would be super cool to do. And so I love the diversity of being able to schedule your events, as well as the typical events that happen in the game, your birthday, Mother and Father's Day, and then in the Eastern Hemisphere, they have the Bean Day as well, that you get those beans to like throw out. I think they even have included it in the Eastern and Western Hemisphere events as well. So like I said before, some events are only taking place in the town square and others in the town as well. Still, some events happen in both, so some will affect both of them. And I'd love to just tweak some major holidays, including a more well-rounded mix of previous renditions. Okay, as you can see, there's a sneak peek here of weather patterns. So let's get into that next portion where we're talking about more diverse weather patterns within Animal Crossing. All right, so weather in the past games, we've had quite a few really great weather patterns so far in the game. I'm not complaining about it. but I think for a while, a lot of people have been dreaming about some more severe weather that could happen within the game. And so here is kind of a little bit of what I'm predicting that could look like. So let's talk about returning features. Pretty simple. We have our sunny and clear, partly cloudy, cloudy, rain, snowy, thunderstorm, heavy snow, rainbow / double rainbow, windy, heavy fog, clear / meteor shower, or clear / aurora borealis. So we have a lot of great weather patterns already in this game. But I think we could do better. I really do. So let's talk about some of these things. So we've already talked about moon phases in past videos, the boat dock one specifically, on how they will change based off of real world time. This means that not only will it affect the tides, but it also means that if your time is linked to your hemisphere and time of day, that means that sunsets will happen later and sunrises earlier in certain times of the year. You're gonna get less sun in your town in the winter and more sun in the summer, which makes sense. I've never understood why I'm playing Animal Crossing and it's dark out, but it's still light in the game in the winter, but then in the summer, I'm playing and it's absolutely bright outside, but then all of a sudden, like, I log into Animal Crossing and it's completely pitch black. It's not realistic. So I want to be able to have realistic times of day in diversity depending on the season and the time of day that you're playing, corresponding to that season. So it would be great if Animal Crossing had the compatibility with the weather channel that we used to have on the Wii. I would love there to be a weather channel on the Switch too, to help with more diverse weather patterns in Animal Crossing. And similar to like games like Pokemon Go from Niantic, how certain weather happens in real life and is triggered in that game. It would be great if we had that in Animal Crossing. But even if we don't get that, just having the sun go down at the correct time as it is within your locale where you live, whether it's northern or western hemisphere, I think that would be great. So that's a change that I would make. Full moons will now slightly tweak villager behaviors to become more intense or aggressive. I think that's super cool. I believe that's an idea that I got from a commenter as well. So just reinforce that idea of some villagers will actually act a little bit different, maybe more aggressive, maybe more weird, more lovey towards you during the full moon. A more diverse weather mechanic in the game will allow for more diverse weather situations in town with some new additions like when I'm introducing severe weather, fog, and sweltering heat. We'll talk about those next, that affect your town differently. There's a lot more fun to be had in town when weather is different. So we talked about our normal weather patterns, but one thing I want to talk about before getting to these new weather patterns is a new feature when it rains. So puddles would be a really cool thing that could puddle on the ground and pool on the ground. Not big puddles, but you know, some little puddles. And villagers can jump or splash in puddles that form on any bare ground during the rain. So puddles will not form on your patterns, but if you have any exposed ground, a puddle can form. This can also make a villager angry, especially if you splash them. So adding a cool new interaction with villagers when it rains, they could be splashing in the puddles, and a grumpy villager will get super angry if you accidentally get too close to them or splash them, or they're like, oh, I stepped in a puddle. Like a peppy villager could say that. It'd be super cute. All right, severe weather and other patterns. Now, along the lines of severe windstorms is kind of the direction that I went in for this. These can occur up to 2 times in each respective season. So you have up to 8 very negative weather patterns that can happen within your time in Animal Crossing within the year. If you happen to be able to be on for it, you will get exclusive dialogue as well as an exclusive experience if you're living in your tent. Remember, guys, and from the very first video, you are not going to be staying in a home until much later in the game. You're going to be given an octagonal tent. So if you are currently living in your tent, you're going to get some very exclusive dialogue and an exclusive place that you get to visit. More on that in a minute. During these extreme weather patterns, plan on having the boat dock closed, as well as some other amenities not available during that time. And the reason behind this is because the water is very choppy. We don't want anybody going out in the water when there's severe weather happening, and we want you in the town to be able to experience all that's going to happen. Okay, let's talk about the 4 seasons and what events are going to happen during these seasons. Let's talk about the spring. The evening lightning storm. So increased lightning strikes light up the sky. Now, just be warned, if you are prone to seizures, this is probably not going to be an event that you're going to want to be on for. High winds are going to blow, causing many flowers to lose their buds. And so this is going to be very difficult if you're trying to create these hybrids during this time of year. So it's going to cause the flowers to lose their buds. So it's going to be a little bit of a setback for a couple days, but that's okay. That can happen up to 2 times in the spring. What about the summer? Now, this one's going to be crazy. This is one that I've wanted for a while, and I think it makes even more sense in this game. Let me explain. In the summer, a tornado will touch down in the town, up to 2 times in the summer. A small tornado will rip through the town, causing damage to villager homes. This is making an opportunity for additional tent parts to be unlocked, as well as more repairs done. If you'll recall that in the beginning of the game, in order to make your town more beautiful and welcoming, into its more welcoming state, you have to help villagers fix up broken windows in their homes or leaky roofs or things like that. So there's going to be those things happening again to the villagers. You just got to help them out after the tornado hits. It gives a fun little extra thing to do. Now there's going to be fallen trees happening, and when that happens and the tornado hits, there's going to be some trees that you're going to lose. They're going to turn into logs, and you can use your axe to cut them down and get resources, but you might lose some precious trees that you really liked. So a tornado will significantly change and affect your island when it rips through. You're going to have some villager tasks to do, and you're going to have some town cleanup to do after the tornado. So the spring event doesn't really affect your town too much, just mostly going to affect the flowers in your town, but the tornado will definitely affect it. What about another event that can happen in the summer? Because summer is pretty much everybody's favorite time to play, including mine. Well, the sweltering heat is a new element that we're adding to the game. It is a weather effect that causes sunburns on your player's skin. Getting sunburns will cause a sun poisoning effect to you or even your villagers, causing them to stay in their homes, and that's not good. So there, it gives a little bit of a story arc, right? You will be able to only walk and not run around your town because the heat is so intense during these sweltering heat events. To protect yourself from days like this, there is a way you can protect yourself and your villagers. It's possible to buy some sunscreen, an item that is going to be new in the Nook's Cranny, and also medicine to cure yourself or villagers who have been affected. Or simply just put up or gift a villager an umbrella to protect from future events. You can buy sunscreen to help you out if you don't want to carry around an umbrella, you're using your tools. But you can also just use an umbrella and give your villagers umbrellas if you don't want them to be sick from the sun poisoning, essentially. So sweltering heat is a new weather condition or weather effect that I'd like to add to the game. Okay, let's talk about the next one, which is foggy weather. This is going to be happening in the fall around this time of year. So foggy weather is basically a mysterious purple or greenish fog that covers the town. This doesn't seem to really have any effects on you or villagers when it comes to changing how you play the game. But however, it does lower visibility quite a bit, and it looks really cool for the spooky season. So this is just going to be something that reduces visibility in your town. You may not be able to see the patterns on the ground because the fog is so thick. So it may cause a little bit of a setback, but it looks amazing, especially if you're going for that aesthetic with your town. Okay, what about the severe weather that's happening during fall? Well, I call it the big windstorm. This happens during the very late fall in November-ish. This is after the Harvest Festival, so this is right after the Thanksgiving event. So this is going to be late November, maybe even early December, depending on when it falls. Get it, fall, because it's the fall, but this is the description between the big windstorm, and this happens only once during this season. So all the other events happen at least twice. This one only happens at least once, maybe twice. But this is an annual storm that around late November comes, stripping trees bare for the winter and falling a bunch of their resources on the ground. So this will ring in the like the holiday season, and just like trees lose their leaves in real life, why don't we have that happen in Animal Crossing anymore? In fact, New Leaf was the only game that you could ever lose leaves on a tree. And so during this big windstorm event happening in the late fall, some of your trees will actually lose a lot of their leaves and they will not be able to grow back. You have to replant those trees next year in order for those leaves to fully grow back. And so it's gonna come at a loss, but just like trees in real life, some of those trees will eventually grow back their leaves. You just gotta wait till the spring for it. Other trees, they're a lost cause. So if you don't want that aesthetic in your town, you're gonna wanna make sure to chop those trees down. It will also just drop a bunch of their resources, including the acorns and, you know, wood and stuff like that. And this will probably end the whole acorn season, and it will ring in the Christmas season, which you can find the ornaments in the trees as well. So just a cool one-time, maybe even two-time events, depending on what time of year it happens, that blows a bunch of leaves off of your trees, just like in real life. I thought that'd be cool. Now, the winter, there's only one event. It can happen 2 times. It's the whiteout snowstorm. Now, this one is very interesting because this creates a very big storyline with your villagers. A day where visibility is so low and snow covers the ground that it slows you down. So similar to how in the summer the weather effect slows you down, this actually slows you down to as if you were like holding a net and you're slowly creeping forward. So this is going to be a very severe event that causes your villagers to be very scared. It's almost impossible to get around the town on days with this big whiteout snowstorm. You can't see, and there's a lot of snow that covers the ground. While this will restrict, obviously, your daily routine, this event gives you an opportunity to seek villagers that are around the town and take them safely into their homes. This is the only event in which the shelter, spoiler alert, we're about to talk about this, will not be accessible, as this event lasts all day. For the next day only, there will be a thick layer of snow on the ground that will cover everything but paths that you have placed. That makes it very hard to walk around through. So this event is like a regular old snowstorm. I don't know if you experience snow where you are, but I do. And when it's a snowstorm in town, let me tell you, everything shuts down. It's a mess. You have to dig your way out. And so in a very similar way, life is going to stop for a day in the game. And that's okay. You know, like it gives you an opportunity to check in on your villagers, make sure they're safely in their home, make sure they're warm. And this is the only event that the shelter is not going to be available. Let's talk about the shelter. It's not currently in the document, but this shelter is something that you will only get to experience during these severe weather events. So the shelter itself is a place that is accessible within the town hall. This is a secret room that is the basement of the town hall that is a shelter for during severe events. So villagers don't feel safe to be in their homes, or maybe they're even in tents, depending on where you're at in the game. And so villagers are scared. So they get to go to this specific shelter for the one day only event. And so what ends up happening is you get to visit this shelter during the culmination event. So what's going to happen is during a certain point of a certain event, the tornado's coming, a cutscene plays, everybody runs to the fallout shelter, and then when the cutscene ends, suddenly you wake up in this fallout shelter and you get to explore it. There's specific dialogues that you get to have that you've never had before, as well as some opportunities to maybe get an exclusive item or explore this exclusive area. And not only is the fallout shelter available, but you get to see the back, kind of the back doors, if you will, of the town hall and explore Pete's mailroom, which I won't give too many details about that, but basically there's another exclusive room that you can explore during events like this as well. So you definitely want to be on for events such as this. But how do we know when these events are going to happen because, hey, I want to attend these events. How are we going to know that these events are happening? Well, there's 3 ways that I've recorded so far that you can do to track these events. The first one is to craft a item that was available on New Leaf as a public works project, and it's called the instrument shelter. It'll be a craftable item that you can craft to track the weather of the day, but also it'll be extended to track tomorrow's weather as well. You'll also be able to check the weather forecast on your TV for the day before. So you'll not be able to track exactly when this weather is going to be happening, but you can kind of get an idea based off of the day before. So you won't be able to time travel to this event. This will be happening naturally. So you'll never know when you'll know the season, but you'll never know the date or the time that these events are going to happen. So you'll have to use the instrument shelter or the weather forecast on the TV. But there's one more cool way that you can do this, and there will be a weather app on your Nook phone. So you'll be able to track the weather for a couple days, not just the next day, but like a 5-day forecast. Think about that. You'll be able to see maybe there is a question mark on there and it's like, oh, something interesting could happen on this day, or sweltering heat is going to be triggered on this day in the summer. So that's a better way to track it once you unlock your Nook phone by going to the big city, getting that app, and I'm sure there's going to be some special mission that you have to do in order to get that app. So maybe, let's just say you have to go through one severe event in order and have a Nook phone in order for Mayor Tortimer or Isabel to say, hey, if this ever happens again, now you'll know it's coming. Here's a new app for your phone. It's called the Weather app, and you're able to track weather patterns from now on. So I think this is all really cool. I think this would definitely fix, in a lot of ways, a lot of the issues that we have in the game when it comes to time traveling with events, but also just giving a more diverse weather palette that feels like real life a little bit more. One thing I've always loved about Animal Crossing is that in a lot of ways it feels like real life, especially if you are a shut-in or you don't like interacting with people. Like, you get a little bit more a taste of real life. And what Animal Crossing has always been is an opportunity to get to interact with these virtual characters so that you can better interact with people in real life. And people in real life get angry. People in real life aren't always friendly. And, people in real life, they might throw an egg, at your house or your car or something like that. They aren't always nice. So we have to prepare people in real life to face real life. And so part of that would be making sure that villagers, guys, aren't as nice as they have been. I mean, come on, guys. We need to, look at this again. Like, even scaring them, they see behind your facade and it's like, oh, like, I knew it was you all along. Like, just be scared, bro. Like, we just need to make Animal Crossing a little less nice for the next game. So that's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's okay. But I would love to hear your opinions in the comments. I love just interacting with you guys there, and I appreciate everyone who's taken the time to subscribe to the channel and watch this series of podcasts. I hope it's valuable to you. And in the next podcast, we're going to be tackling the topic of foliage. So the flora and fauna on the island. We've already tackled villagers, so now we're going to be tackling the awesome flora that we're going to be able to see on the island, including flowers and fruit trees, with all of the potential for hybrids for flowers and the new concept of hybrid tree growing that will allow you to unlock brand new fruit that was never accessible before in Animal Crossing. Once again, my name is Dare, also known as Super Koopa here on the MFC. I hope you loved this video. If you did, subscribe and make sure you check out more episodes of the Nintendidn't So We Did podcast. You guys have a great day and stay safe out there if you are trick-or-treating tonight. Take care. This has been the Nintendidn't So We Did podcast. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, or Google Podcast for more on this show. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you have a happy Halloween.